I'm always thinking something terrible is going to happen. I can't handle it.
You know, your worst fears, the what ifs, and I can't control it, and I'm always worrying about everything.
At work, I'm tense about stuff at home. At home, I'm tense about stuff at work.
If you're one of the millions of people who live with uncontrollable worry, anxiety, and several of these symptoms for 6 months or more, you could be suffering from generalized anxiety disorder, and a chemical imbalance could be to blame. Paxil works to correct this imbalance to relieve anxiety.
You might have heard of the drug names Paxil and Wellbutrin. If not, let us tell you these drugs are antidepressants. Many doctors recommend them to treat depression, panic attacks, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and anxiety disorders.
This is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI, treatment for depression. It's in the top 75 drugs prescribed in the United States.
Or if you have diabetes, you might have come across this drug named Avandia. But what if we told you that taking Avandia for diabetes may increase the risk of heart failure, or taking an antidepressant drug like Paxil may increase the chance of having more suicidal thoughts?
Chicago attorney who committed suicide by jumping in front of a train after taking the generic version of the antidepressant Paxil. Mr. Dolan had only been taking this medication for 5 days.
So, we would like to ask you, have you ever cross-checked which pharmaceutical company manufactures these drugs? And what credibility or reliability this company holds?
Don't stop taking Paxil before talking with your doctor. Paxil is non-habit forming. Facing the day is easier. I feel like me again.
Hello everyone. In today's video, we will talk about one of the world's giant healthcare and pharmaceutical company scams, GlaxoSmithKline.
Today I'm pleased to announce that the Justice Department and our law enforcement partners have reached an historic $3 billion resolution with the pharmaceutical manufacturer GlaxoSmithKline, LLC.
On Monday, July 2, 2012, U.S. Department of Justice announced a statement against GlaxoSmithKline to plead guilty and pay $3 billion to resolve fraud allegations and failure to report safety data.
Company officials agreed to pay $3 billion in the biggest healthcare fraud settlement in U.S. history.
GSK agreed to plead guilty to the 3-count criminal information, including 2 counts of introducing misbranded drugs, Paxil and Wellbutrin, into interstate commerce, and 1 count of failing to report safety data about the drug Avandia to the Food and Drug Administration, FDA.
There's no question that as a result of the safety data for Avandia not being offered to the FDA or to the physicians who prescribed the drug, patients had heart attacks and patients died.
GSK will pay $1 billion, including a criminal fine of $956,814,400 and forfeiture of $43,185,600. The unlawful plea agreement also includes specific non-monetary compliance commitments and certifications by GSK's U.S. President and Board of Directors. GSK will pay remaining $2 billion to resolve its civil liabilities with the federal government under the False Claims Act, as well as the states.
This action constitutes the largest healthcare settlement in United States history.
GSK unlawfully promoted Paxil for treating depression in patients under age 18, even though the FDA has never approved it for pediatric use.
The drug company GlaxoSmithKline promoted it as a treatment for depression in children, even though it was never cleared for use by anyone under the age of 18. This is called off-label marketing.
The United States alleges that, among other things, GSK participated in preparing, publishing, and distributing a misleading medical journal article that misreported that a clinical trial of Paxil demonstrated efficacy in the treatment of depression in patients under age 18 when the study failed to demonstrate effectiveness. GSK used to organize medical conferences in which they used to pay the speaker to promote Paxil in front of an audience of doctors. In addition, they used to sponsor dinner, lunch, and spa programs as a perk. Similarly, in the case of Wellbutrin drug, GSK paid millions of dollars to doctors to speak at and attend meetings, sometimes at lavish resorts, at which the off-label uses of Wellbutrin were routinely promoted, and also used sales representatives, sham advisory boards, and supposedly independent continuing medical education (CME) programs to promote Wellbutrin.
GSK wanted doctors to prescribe its products and to convince their colleagues to do the same. That can create a billion-dollar drug, and so it bribed some doctors with exotic trips, money-making speeches, and even Madonna concert tickets.
In 1999, Avandia was first marketed as an oral treatment for type 2 diabetes. It was adopted quickly, becoming the top-selling oral diabetes drug in the US in 2006. After approval, some signals suggested that Avandia might increase the risk of myocardial ischemia that might lead to heart attacks, but the evidence was inconclusive. A post-marketing clinical safety trial of 4,400 patients was eventually launched, with results available in 2009. In May 2007, a meta-analysis combining the results of 42 clinical trials of Avandia found a 43% increased risk of heart attack among patients taking the drug.
Anywhere between 50 and 100,000 diabetics had unnecessary, unneeded heart attacks or death due to the drug Avandia.
Between 2001 and 2007, GSK failed to include safety data about Avandia in reports to the FDA that allow the FDA to determine if a drug continues to be safe for its approved indications and to spot drug safety trends. GSK has agreed to plead guilty to failing to report data to the FDA and to pay a criminal fine of $242,612,800 for its unlawful conduct concerning Avandia. So what can we learn from this? As we have seen in our previous video where we discussed the Pfizer scam, well, it's essential to be skeptical of Big Pharma and to always do your research before taking any medications. There are a lot of fraudulent products out there, and it's essential to be aware of them. Thanks for watching. And for more videos on truths of healthcare industry, remember to subscribe to Mediquest.
And for the longest time, they attempted to cover up the dangers to keep their profits flowing.